Hi everyone. I'm super excited today because I got a deep fryer that I just ordered in the mail yesterday. So I want to make donuts. I'm gonna make a basic yeasted donut. So we're gonna have to make the dough, knead it a little bit, let it rise. Form it into the rings and then let it rise again before we put it into the fryer. So if you want to make this, you're going to need a fryer and you're going to need some time. One alternative to the 2-hour process that this is going to be is you could later in the day you could make the dough and then put it in the fridge and let it rise overnight. Then you'll be able to form the donuts in the morning and fry them and have them in an hour, ready in an hour in the morning instead of doing this whole process. So that's an option. So I have in my stand mixer, I have a tablespoon of yeast and it's in warm coconut milk. I did coconut milk, but you can do regular whole milk if you want. A cup and a half of milk, 4 tablespoons of butter, and 1/3 of a cup of water, and 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm gonna have the recipe posted so you don't have to remember all that, but it's all in here. I let the yeast foam up a little bit in the warm mixture, and now I'm gonna start adding everything else. So I have 5 cups of flour here and a teaspoon of salt and 2 eggs, and I have my dough hook on my stand mixer. Let me put this. Okay, so I'm gonna start adding my flour. I lied, I'm gonna do the eggs first. Alright, so the eggs are beaten in the mixture, and now I'm going to add the flour a little bit at a time. Okay, so the dough is sticky, pretty sticky. The recipe that I'm using says to let it mix in the mixer until it kind of pulls away from the sides of the bowl. I think it's done that, so I'm gonna take it out and transfer it to a big bowl that I already have greased with oil. It doesn't say, if you have a stand mixer, it doesn't say you have to knead it by hand, so I'm not going to, because it would be definitely quite a mess. So this is the dough. So I'm just using my rubber spatula to scrape it out of the mixing bowl. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. My apartment's quite cold naturally, so, well, at least in the winter it is, so I'm going to use my oven to actually, my hands are gross. I'm actually gonna use my oven to let this rise. So what I do is I just preheat my oven. The lowest setting that it'll start preheating at is 170. So I just turn it on for like literally 5 seconds. I think I count to 5 and then I turn it off. I've used my temperature to see how warm it gets, and it does get, when I do that, it gets to about like 70, 72 degrees, which is perfect. So I let it rise in the oven. I close the door and let it stay in there. I'm gonna cover this and I let it rise. I'll let it rise for like an hour and see if it's doubled in size, and then we can start forming them into the rings. We're back, so the dough has been fermenting for a little over an hour. It's big and poofy. I just punched it down, and I'm gonna try and get it out of the bowl for us to start shaping it into donuts. Okay, so I want like half of it, because this is a big thing of dough. Oh wow. And it's still really sticky. Time to get the flour out. And I have to get my, wow, I'm a little unprepared. I have to get my rolling pin. Okay. Let's try to get this dough out. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to chop it in half. Put the other half. Back in the bowl. So this dough is super sticky, so definitely make sure you like liberally flour your working surface. Okay. So I'm gonna roll it out. It's got to be about a ½ inch thick, the dough. That might actually be good. I have a measuring tape. I'm gonna go grab it. Okay. Let's make sure this is right. Yep. Okay. So now I have this circle cutter. It looks a little smaller than what a normal donut would be. And then I also have this bowl. I think it's like it came with this one-person sushi set that I bought. It's slightly bigger than the cutter, so I might do both. And then I have a little piping end that I'm gonna poke in the middle and then I'll just stretch it out a little bit to make the hole bigger. That's all I got. If you actually have actual donut cutters, definitely use that. So we're gonna cut out our donut. Okay, now let's see how this works. Okay, so I got the little end out. I'm just trying to make the hole in the middle a little bit bigger. Because if you don't make the hole big enough, it could shrink and there won't be a hole once you put it in the fryer. Okay. And then I'm putting it on my pan. It's got to rest for about a half hour. It should, after you're done forming the donuts, you could turn on your fryer. And then the amount of time the fryer takes to heat up is basically the amount of time that these need to rest. Okay, so there's one donut. I'm gonna form the rest of them. I plan on doing about half and half of like jelly filled ones and then regular ones with the hole in the middle and glazed ones, and I'm even gonna try like a twisted one. So you'll see all the donuts once I start frying them. This should make about 2 dozen. It might make a little bit more since I don't think this is a large one. Yeah, you'll see me in a minute. Okay, so I finished forming all the donuts and I let them rest for, it's been maybe more than a half an hour, but at least a half an hour. I've got some ones with holes and some regular ones so we can make some jelly ones. So I cut some squares of parchment paper to put the donuts on because it'll be easier to put them in there without making them like turn into the fryer, without making them like stretch out and turn into ovals. So we're gonna take one and we're gonna go to the fryer. And I'm gonna lift my basket up and I had a thought. We're gonna just stick it in and put it down. It'll de-stick in a second. So we're gonna let it fry for a couple minutes on each side. I have the temperature at about 350. And then once this is done frying, you need to let it drain on like a paper towel to drain the excess oil off. And we have all our, here we go, the paper's gonna come out. We have all our toppings ready. We have chocolate glaze, vanilla glaze, like a thin glaze to pour over it so it's like a full glazed donut. And we're gonna fill some with strawberry jelly and raspberry jelly. We've got sprinkles, so you'll see the full array once we finish frying them. And I'm gonna take the paper out. Where should I put the paper? Ooh. It's like almost there. I'm gonna give it another second. I'm really excited. And the oil that I have in the fryer right now is a mixture of coconut oil and avocado oil because we ran out of coconut oil, so I had to put something else in. They're both high heat oils and they're, I would say, a little bit healthier than canola oil, but you can use what you have. And as for the heat, you want it to be at like 350, 360. If it's any lower, the donuts will take too long to fry and then they'll soak up too much oil and they'll be like greasy. If it's too hot, then it'll brown way too fast and it'll be raw on the inside when you take it out. I think it's almost done. It's kind of like a guessing game with frying. You can't really know that it's cooked. You just kind of have to rely on it. Okay, look at that. That looks perfect. So I'm gonna take my donut out. I'm gonna put it on there to let it cool off for a second. It smells like the carnival or something. The fried food. And then this one I'm gonna put in sugar. I just have to wait a little bit for it to cool down a little bit more. But you want to put it in the sugar like a minute after it comes off out of the fryer. If you do, I have regular sugar, but if you do powdered sugar, you could put in the powdered sugar so it sticks, and then you're probably going to want to do another like dunking in of powdered sugar after it cools down because the sugar is going to kind of absorb in the first time. Okay. Okay. And here is our first donut. We're gonna have so much to clean up. And then once we finish the rest of the donuts, you could, well, when I say we, I mean me and my husband, you could see all of them complete, and then maybe we'll take a bite of one at the end. Okay, so after like almost 2 hours, we finally finished making them. We had to put 2 in at a time in the fryer because I've got a smaller fryer. And then we had to decorate all of them. Just ignore the mess that is my oven right now. But this is what we made. We made jelly-filled ones, sugar ones, vanilla and chocolate frosted, and then glazed. They all look amazing. I can't wait to eat them. Look at them. Yeah? Ooh. I think I'm gonna bite the twisted one. The twisted ones came out actually really good. It's good. It tastes like a donut.
Where's my bite?
Do you want a bite? My husband's taking a bite. based on his face, he thinks they're good too. Awesome. So I'll post the whole process if you want to try and make these. I hope everybody has a good night and stay safe. This is so exciting. Claudio, I have a fryer. I'm making donuts right now. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay, all right. Okay, you can stop. Okay, all right.